welcome to the What If Ask AI channel. On this channel, we ask multiple AI services what if questions. The what if questions was made back in my childhood when I was asked to put all my questions in a binder because my family was tired of me asking them all the questions I had in mind. Now, later in the future, I'm taking the questions I made from my childhood and asking the AI services the questions and reviewing and judging their responses. I hope you enjoy this channel. Welcome back to the What If Ask AI YouTube channel, and today we are looking at this question. What if all your flowers and trees grew money? As always, we are using the following AI services. We're using ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity, and Meta AI. And as always, I have two example questions that I asked a few colleagues of mine that gave an answer to, so it can help the AI services know exactly what I'm looking for. And with that, let's get started. Let's see what happens when we ask Copilot that question. What if all your flowers and trees grew money? ChatGPT's response is, well, that would certainly make gardening a lot more exciting. And I imagine you'd be very pleased with such a fortunate harvest. Now let's see what Copilot's response is. Copilot's answer to that question is, I'd say you'd certainly have the most popular garden in the neighborhood, and you'd probably need a security system for your roses. Yeah, I think you're right. Now let's see what Gemini's response is. Okay, so Gemini's response is the following. So the short answer that Gemini provided is, well, I would say your gardening skills would certainly become the most valuable talent on the planet. So here's the long provided answer with the reality check. Since I like to balance the what if with a bit of grounded insight, here's what would likely happen if this botanical bank account actually existed. Hyperinflation: if everyone's trees grew money, the value of that money would plummet. If currency is as common as grass, you might need a wheelbarrow full of oak leaves just to buy a loaf of bread. Ecological shifts: people would stop planting for beauty or fruit and start planting for profit. We might see a massive loss in biodiversity as everyone clears out their gardens to make room for the high-yield Benjamins. Security concerns: forget keep off the grass signs. You'd need armed guards just to prune your hedges. Okay, let's see what happens when we ask Perplexity that question. So Perplexity's answer is the following. Well, that would definitely make gardening a lot more exciting, and I bet everyone would suddenly love taking care of their plants. And here's what Meta AI says. Okay, so here's Meta AI's response. That's a wild one. Okay, if all my flowers and trees grew money, I'd be raking it in, literally. Jokes aside, it would be a game changer for gardening and landscaping. People would be fighting over fertile soil, and economies might shift to be more plant-based. But then again, inflation would probably go through the roof. Okay, after looking at all the responses, here is my ranking of all the AI services, starting at 1, which is my best ranking, to 5, which is my worst ranking. So I at 1 put Meta AI, and the reason that I put Meta AI as 1 is because it mentioned that there would be some game-changing settings for gardening and landscaping. And then also it mentioned some concerns about inflation, and it also mentioned some concerns about economy shifting, and then it also mentioned some concerns about people fighting, just things that might happen if this what if question was actually true. And I like that. So I put Gemini too because Gemini had the same setting and concerns that Meta AI had, but it was kind of a little bit longer. So I just liked how Meta AI had it in a short format, kind of like my example questions from the prompt that I had. So for that reason, I put Gemini as number 2. And then for number 3, I put Copilot because it mentioned that if this was only your garden, you would have the most popular garden in the neighborhood. And then also mentioned how you might need to get a security system to watch over your garden and your roses. For number 4, I put Perplexity AI, and the reason I put Perplexity as number 4 is because it mentioned that gardening would be an exciting thing to do, and then it mentioned how everybody would be taking care of their plants in their garden. And the reason I put ChatGPT as 5 is because it didn't really talk about everyone, it just talked about yourself. So it kind of said the same thing that Perplexity said gardening would be a lot more exciting, but it only talked about itself, or just one person, just saying that you'd be very pleased with such a fortunate harvest. So again, my ranking for the AI services for this question is Meta AI is 1, Gemini is 2, Copilot is 3, Perplexity is 4, and ChatGPT is 5. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next What If Question episode.